After about 2 3/4 miles, I'm getting to the first beaver ponds. The valley's starting to open up a little bit. This beaver dam doesn't look like it's been worked for quite a while. Great big breach in this dam. And here we go, just a little bit better than 3 miles in. Goose Creek goes off that way, and I'm going to continue up Wigwam, see if I can find a camp space. I'm standing on a dry path, but the water level of the beaver pond comes up to my waist. Say hello to Mr. Moose, at least what's left of him. I was thinking about camping up in the trees over here, but I don't think I want to be this close to a smelly carcass. I think this is the one I'm going to stay at. Has good access to water, plenty of spots to set up the tent, and most importantly, it's upstream and way upwind from Mr. Moose. The other important thing to look for in a camping spot is that there are no widowmakers. All these trees are alive, they're clustered, so nothing's going to come falling down on me in the middle of the night. It's a young grouse. This really isn't called Goose Creek Pass, I don't think. But I'm at the top of it. I have reached Lost Creek, but my actual goal is to hike into the canyon. Most maps show an unnamed trail in there with established campsites, but I did find one map that showed the trail was decommissioned. When I found that trailhead, it was indeed blocked off, but by whom is the question. I did find 2 other trails, but they both peter out into the scrub. It may be worth my time to come back and explore that blocked off trail. Hiking back to my camp, I accidentally flushed this bull moose. He trotted about 75 feet, stopped and turned to watch me. After a couple long seconds, his body language relaxed and he started browsing. I restarted my hike down the trail, and to my great dismay, the trail took a turn and now I was within 30 feet of the brute. He mostly ignored me and kept eating on the bush. This is a really nice camp. Close to water. Right there. I have hiked out of the Wigwam area and driven down to the south end of Goose Creek trailhead. From here, the wilderness area was just singed by the Hayman fire. I hiked the 4.5 miles to this temporary camp. It is temporary because 1, it has poor access to water, and 2, there's a better camp to the north that is currently occupied by the Volunteers for Outdoor Colorado. Today is Thursday and they've been working on trails since Monday. They're breaking camp tomorrow. You can't do too much better in the wilderness than to have a granite slab for your countertop. Here is a handful of the Volunteers for Outdoor Colorado. The crew numbered around 12 to 13 people. After dinner, they gather around a campfire in the next camp over. This is their mess tent. The head chef, Susan, invited me for eats. You can see her in the orange t-shirt. Her cooking was amazing. This is the next morning after the VOC have packed everything. Uphill from here, all the mess tent supplies are being packed on the mules that the Forest Service has brought in. The containers of filtered water in the foreground will be poured back into the creek. This crew are truly leave no trace. There wasn't a scrap left as evidence that they'd been here. However, the VOC did leave behind a bag full of goodies for me. Thanks, guys. Here is my home for the next 3 nights. and my view for the duration. Goose Creek appears to spring forth from these boulders, but starting at the beaver ponds above the shaft house, the creek actually flows under all the rock falls for over a half a mile. Today I'm hiking up to the shaft house. There's no longer a structure, but the machines that were left behind more than a century ago. The trail is only a quarter mile long and is quite distinct. I hiked it in 15 minutes. But later that morning, I met a family who had gotten lost up there. The father was relying on his phone GPS instead of using his eyes to follow the trail. I have a satellite communicator, and down in these rocks, it has taken as long as 35 minutes to grab a signal. The trail above the shaft house abruptly ends in an 8-foot fall. 100 years ago there was probably a ladder here. Now there's just a too short shimmy pole. The beaver ponds are barely another quarter of a mile up from here, and from satellite photos there is a good trail in there, but as much as I backtracked, I couldn't find a way down. Last time I came through here a couple days ago, the VOC was working on this trail. It was deeply rutted right down the center, and they transferred that drainage over to the left-hand side there. They did a lot of work farther up, but I'm not going to go up there because I'm going down now. They also fixed this old drainage catch